GM, everybody. I'm Ellis. I'm the founder of Cracked Labs, and we are happy to be the host of the Aptos AI Agent Thunderdome, a badass hackathon all about AI agents doing crazy stuff on chain on Aptos. And today we've got Sneha joining us from Aptos. She's going to be leading a workshop on just how you can get your agents off the ground. And with that, I'll hand it over to you. Sneha, why don't you give us a little bit of a background on you, your role at Aptos, what we'll be talking about, and we can go from there.
Yes, awesome, Alice. This is so good to be here. Love the video at the intro. Very cool stuff. So, a little bit about me. I'm currently a DevRel at the Aptos Foundation. And I've been in the Web3 space for over 4 years now. Have been around a lot of different tools being built out. And honestly, I think the AI narrative is something which kind of has been changing a lot. But I think that as Aptos, as a blockchain, I think we are working towards being super ready for the narrative to just catch on by making our infra something which allows for that. So yeah, I'm very excited to be here and teach people how they can do the same on Aptos.
Love it. Awesome. Well, I am going to hop off the stage. We'll hand you the reins. And if there are any issues or anything, just speak up and I'll try and help.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alice. All right. Okay, so for today, I think the format that I want to cover this workshop is a little bit more about the Aptos story, how AI is being supported by the Aptos blockchain. So we'll talk a little bit about Aptos as a blockchain. We'll go into the different tooling that we have on Aptos, and I will tell you we have a lot of different things that you can do here. We will actually even do a little bit of deep dive in terms of the code, whatever can help you get started. And here you can actually see my TG and Twitter, so you can just really just like shoot me a DM for any help that you want during this hackathon, and I'll be sure that you get the support that you need. So yeah, so let's jump right in. So a little bit about me. I started into Web3 in 21. Have been part of like Polygon, Build Space, been like freelancing in Solidity, and started my own company that failed, but it was like an amazing experience in Web3 itself. And now I'm here at Aptos doing DevRel stuff and extremely interested about the tech that we are moving towards. So yeah, what is Aptos? So I don't want to take a lot of time to talk about these things because I want to focus more on the workshop side of things. But I do want to touch upon one thing which is very important is whenever we are talking about these DeFi agents and things, right? The tech that needs to power this, the blockchain that needs to power this, needs to think of a couple of different things, very important things. Number one is on the security side of things. We have to make sure that whatever actions that any particular AI agent is basically calling, that is kind of safe or foolproof. And that is something that we ensure through our Move language, which was internally developed within Facebook. Along with that, the second thing that we have to make sure whenever we are dealing with DeFi agents, and I think the AI agent narrative is something where we are talking about doing things in an autonomous fashion. And we really want to be the ones who can compete in terms of the latency and the fees there. We are imagining the future to be like a network of AI agents that are going to basically manage your portfolio. And in times like these, we would love to settle on a chain which can offer that sort of low latency and cost efficiency. So this is exactly what Aptos has in place for us, which is a very high performance layer one. And I mean, we don't stop really at Aptos because we are constantly trying to scale our thing. And there are a lot of things that you can research about, especially our block STM, Raptor, Shardines, on how we are actually doing that terms of scaling for the L1. And if you folks have been a part of the EVM ecosystem or the Solana ecosystem, I'm sure you're aware of the different languages that we deal with. So whenever we are talking about Solidity, you must be aware of the different hacks that we run into, and that is primarily because whenever we are talking about Solidity as a language, it treats assets just as numbers and not as assets itself. whereas Move is something which takes like a resource based approach. It is a DSL specifically built for blockchain, and I think that is also the place where I think we offer better tooling or better support in terms of comparing it with Rust on Cosmos or Solana as well, because this is a DSL specifically built for blockchain, which can handle assets as assets, removing the possibility of assets being duplicated, removing the possibility of assets being deleted randomly. So yeah, that's a little bit about Aptos. And yeah, I mean, everything in Web3 is hard. I mean, being super honest, it is. We are trying to do things which are unreal if you compare it across how things normally work. So for this example, if we're talking about any asset thing that we want to buy, so it's about going to an exchange, doing a KYC, getting that, then getting a self custody wallet, transferring there, blah blah blah, right? And it's a tedious process, but I think this is exactly where something like AI agents can make a lot of change when we are talking about UX on the blockchain level. But that being said, the key here being that the blockchain needs to support it in terms of offering things like account abstraction, in terms of offering things like making sure whenever a new wallet is being created, we can do it in a very cost efficient manner. We can make sure that it can do gasless transactions, so users don't have to worry about these kind of things, right? So this is where we really see the future to be like DeFi agents, which can really really simplify the UX challenges that we see in Web3. And along with that, another main thing that we see across Web3 is migration across chains, right? So we have all of this talk about liquidity being there on particular chains, huge amounts of liquidity being there, and the idea here would be that people don't care as much, right? They just want to have a single wallet or something which can basically move their funds around, do things for them, find out what's the best yields that they can get across different ecosystems, right? And that's exactly what we are looking at in terms of things like DeFi agents. So whenever we're talking about wormhole or layer zero, using these technologies, using oracles to find the pricing, and being able to execute actions like buying or swapping, or offering like some assets to be lent on some protocol, these kind of things, right? So we want to be able to do these kind of things, right? So this is why this is like, I feel like one of the major bull cases of why AI agents can be something pretty interesting, right? um yeah, so as we said, like beyond aping into coins and cross-chain transfers, what this eventually leads to is being able to optimize your portfolio, being able to improve the development around a unique dApp or a wallet. Like one of the projects that I would love to see during this hackathon would be something like, hey, why don't we just have one agent that can enable people to get onboarded onto Aptos, that can enable people to do certain actions here. So, like just, say something like come to Aptos with, let's say, 10 USDC, which can come from Solana, which can come from EVM. And with that 10 USDC, just find out the best actions that you can do on Aptos with obviously like a moderate risk level. So it can be a little bit of staking, it can be a little bit of lending, it can be a little bit of yield generation, all of these things, right? So this is what we are looking towards. So yeah, that's where AI makes the most sense. And I think we have been seeing a lot of things come up in the last couple of months, where we have all of these interactive agents. There's a lot of improvements that are coming in, AI 16z's, Elisa, and there are a couple of native tools that we also use at Aptos. Some tools which have been created by our ecosystem projects, for example, Joule Finance's MetaMove AI agent kit, which we'll be looking into now, as well as another thing that we will be looking into is ELISA plugin for Merkle Trade, which has been created. So yeah, let's just start typing more deeply into this. So here is the blockchain experience that we would like to see, right? So you can just ask Gemini to transfer $5, Siri to like buy $10 of some emoji coin. Emoji coin is basically a project on Aptos, which is similar to a Pump.Fund graduation based initiative. So you can look into that, and you can even have something like, help transfer my $100 to $10,000 in 52 weeks. So this is something where you are basically asking the agent for the different paths in terms of the different yields that can be offered across different protocols, and then allowing the agent to decide a more maybe riskier approach. In this case, if you're talking about 100 to $10,000, that they can come up with and then execute in a timely manner. So this is what we are looking at, to provide these kind of blockchain experiences, which actually are not possible at the moment with traditional finance. And along with these seamless blockchain experiences, it does not make any sense for us, because I think as an industry, Web3 is heavily invested into Twitter and Telegram, right? And a lot of the times whenever we're talking about price movements, it is influenced by these kind of things. I think AIXBT is one of the agents that everyone would have pretty much followed, and its analysis are pretty much accurate or on point, I would say. So whenever we are trying to figure out the sentiment around tokens, it also would make sense to have some format of social integrations or social agents that can basically, by going through Twitter or by going through Telegram, be able to understand and comment or analyze what would be the token price movement, and be able to share that with others on X or on Telegram, right? And the last, but I think one of the most important points is actually developer experience, right? And whenever we are talking about contracts, it is actually not very simple for most of the people to work with them. So we have these contracts, there are not a lot of docs around it. So you, and I'm sure a lot of you would have tried to maybe fork Uniswap or fork a different decks and then try to build it on your own. But it is a very tedious process, because you will have to figure out what are the functions you have to call, how you have to call it, what are the different parameters required. But instead of that, we can really change the entire developer experience around this by having something which can just be an SDK, which can allow you to create something, create a contract. For example, here, provide me a 404 NFT minting contract, right? So you can just write a prompt like that, and you can think of MCP servers here to go through your current docs and be able to create something like that, or be able to maybe just keep a collection of different contracts from a lot of different DeFi protocols in a particular ecosystem, and then be able to just add or build on top of it as a wrapper in terms of an SDK, right? So these are the different things that we are looking to build in terms of the AI agents. Um, and yeah, so aping into a coin on a DEX, cross-chain swaps, understanding fair launches, optimizing portfolios. I think these are things where AI can come in heavily, given that a lot of these things we have tried to do manually, and honestly, we haven't been super good in this, because I think the realization being a lot of users don't care, and the users that do care end up, I think, flocking to certain ecosystems where there is sufficient liquidity. And I think AI can really change the narrative around that. So now I think it's time to talk a little bit more about what exactly do we have here. How can you go about building on Aptos, right? I mean, this is all cool. I'm pretty sure you're sold on the Aptos vision by now. But let's talk a little bit about this Move Agent Kit. So I'm just gonna share a different screen with you and show you this Move Agent Kit. So yeah, so this is the MetaMove agent kit. This has actually been built by one of our ecosystem partners, Joule Finance. And this Move agent kit has integrations with over 10 plus DeFi protocols on Aptos, which means that you don't need to write the code to actually integrate any of these protocols. You can use that. And there is also the option to interact with NFTs, generate images, and it has inbuilt integrations with Panora, which is basically one of our top DEX aggregators. It has, and it also is something that we can get our pricing data from. So we have all of these native integrations. So I just want to take a minute and actually show you how you can do that, right? Because I mean, what are words if I can't actually tell you how you can go about it? So I will just maybe talk a little bit about how you can first set this up. So this is the MetaMove AI agent kit. Don't worry, I will share all of these links with you later so that you can get started. But yeah, you can actually just go ahead and clone this particular repository, or you can do it like in an npm way. The reason why I would ask you to clone is so that you can actually modify the source code and add whatever you want to add over here. And I will show you an example that I have built. Maybe I will link my Twitter tweet as well, which where I have done that. So I'm just gonna quickly just show you how this works. So first we'll just like clone it. Then we have like a basic setup where we are setting like the private key. So the account that basically the AI agent will be using the funds from, configuring the environment. So the Aptos private key, the private key of that account, Anthropic API key. This is for Claude, OpenAI API key that you can provide. And then it's about initializing the client, providing a couple of these things. This is, I think, the main thing that we will be looking into, this create Aptos tools. I will talk a little bit more about this and how this works. And then once you have these tools set up, these are, I would say, a collection of tools which has already been written out. I will show you how this looks right now. And one of those tools here is transfer tokens, which already has like a defined function where you can just set the to address and how much you want to transfer. Similarly, there are things for getting balance, all of that. So these are like a pre-built set of tools. And if you fork this from the source, you will be able to add your own tools as well on top of this if you're able to do this on the source. And I will show you an example tool as well that you can add. And this is the lang chain integration. So this is what would allow the agent to basically break down and understand the NLP or the language behind it. So if I say something like, hey, can you transfer one APT, how does it actually translate that to agent or transfer tokens? That happens to this lang chain integration, where you are just providing it some details about what kind of an agent it is, like a help agent that can interact on chain using this kit, blah blah blah. So this is what we kind of provide for it to make sense, right? And there are more details on the documentation, but I'll just take a minute and now just show this on my VS Code as well for more context. I am not sure if. Give me a minute. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you can see my VS Code screen. So I'm just gonna share my screen again. I think I probably would have to share the entire screen. Just give me a minute. Okay. Would be helpful if someone can maybe write in the chat if this screen is visible. This is my VS Code screen.
You should have it up there now. It looks good.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah, so I just wanted to go through it. I just wanted to tell you how you can do this. So, I told you that we have these tools, right? So, when you try to fork this up, right, you will find this examples, right? And there we would have this chat agent. So, this chat agent is basically a default UI interface that they have created for you. There are more examples as well that you can use, but I think for the most part, this chat agent should be enough. Now what we will be doing actually is we will be modifying some source code which you can find under the src folder to actually make some tools on your own, right? So here we have the chat agent. I just want to very quickly show you how this looks. It is basically just like a UI interface that you can use more or less, with like a layout and a page. Yeah, so you don't want to basically edit any of this. This is just like the agent. But what it does refer is this particular source file. So whenever you make changes there, it is reading it from here. So let's go to our source and let's look at the tools and a couple of things here. So whenever you go to source, you can just look at this index and it's taking all of these things from here. If you go to the agents file, agent.ts. So this is the point where you can add all of the tools which are coming from all of these different things, right? So there's tools from Liquid Swap, Aries. So if I just expand this tools folder, all of these are actually DeFi protocols on Aptos. Amnes is staking protocol, Aries DeFi market, Ecolin also money market. Joule is for lending and borrowing, and now they are doing looping strategies and lending as and leverage as well. Yeah, couple of these. Panora is basically the DEX aggregator. Thala is also like a money market. So these are all existing protocols on Aptos, and there are things written out for that in terms of communicating or using their particular contracts, right? So whenever you write something, if you use it as it is, your agent would be able to understand. If you say something like, hey, can you stake one APT on Amnes, it will be able to understand that. So I'm just going to show you how this works. So this is Amnes. As I said, this is like the staking protocol. So this is a file which has been which is already there in the forked repository for staking tokens, and it basically specifies the contract address, and it specifies what is the exact function that is being called and the arguments that it would take. So this is similar to what we just discussed about the transfer or the uh, get balance thing that we just saw. So if you see, this is the get balance thing. So it's basically a function that the agent can understand. So it has already been pre-written here. And how does the agent understand what it means in terms of like the language itself is through our lang chain thing. So if you see, there's this lang chain over here. If you expand and if you go under Amnes, you can see the stake.ts, and you specify in this description that okay, this is to stake APT, and you will receive stake the APT, and it will take basically amount and recipient. And if you look at our function under tools as well, then you will be able to see that is exactly what we are taking over here. So we have this amount and to which exactly address we are talking about, right? So that's how it is making sense. So whenever you want to modify or create something on top of the metamove AI agent kit, the idea should be that you need to add another tool. You can add it something under an existing tool, and then you also need to add something on your lang chain so that it can understand what it means. So for example, for Amnes, if you actually fork the repository, you will be able to see index stake and withdraw stake. But this file over here, DCA stake, has been created by me and added. And the idea here is to create a tool which can schedule automatic staking of APT. So stake APT is something where you can just take it at that particular moment, but this is a tool which I've created which can allow to stay schedule it automatically because we have access to the private key. So we can set something like that, and here we have defined the different parameters which are important, like the amount, the how often it can say it stake, the frequency, and where it needs to send the staked APT, right? So these are the different things that I've specified, and this is basically the lang chain file on how it is to be done, where I would say it is pretty straightforward. We have defined different commands here for doing that. So under start, you're just getting these different parameters that you're passing, you're validating those parameters, and if things look good, then you're actually calling the function which is present under your DCA stake under tools. I will show you how that looks as well. So if you move here, you can see we have the schedule stake token.ts. And if you see over here, we have added a couple of functions: start scheduled staking, execute stake, stop schedule staking, and these are the same ones that we have mentioned on langchain as commands over here. So if you see, there's like start, stop, status, update, blah blah, and what we are doing is underneath it we are just calling whatever function it has been written under our tools. So that is the way that it works. So, and once you're done creating these things, you will also need to add them to this agent.ts. So if you see over here, you can actually see that I've added start schedule staking, all of these top all schedule, these kind of things, so that it understands or knows how to actually do those different things, right? The agent has the context. So this is how you can actually go and make changes in the move agent kit. You don't need to modify the chat agent file as much. You just need to modify things under tools and langchain, and agent.ts. Under tools, you can basically go ahead and make changes in any existing DeFi protocol if you want to. If you want to add a new DeFi protocol, then you can actually go ahead and do that as well. Whatever works the best for you. And under that, you can create basically a tool which specifies the contract address. For example, I'll just quickly show you. It specifies the contract address that we are dealing with, and it specifies the function you're supposed to call with whatever parameters. And the way it is getting these parameters is by interpreting what it means through LangChain. So under Amnes, if we see DCS stake, it will be first interpreting by passing it on description the different parameters that are required. So when you say something like I want to stake zero point 0.1 apt every 1 hour, uh, then it will be able to parse and understand that amount here is zero point 0.1, interval minutes is 60 minutes, recipient is the wallet address, and it will be able to pass all of that, get all of that here, and then be able to pass all of that to our tool functions that we have created. So this is more or less how you can go ahead and make changes in the move agent kit. And just to very quickly maybe just talk about, I'll just stop my screen and show you a very, very quick demo. Just give me a minute on the things that we have built through this. So, one is the example that I just talked to you about, which is more or less about the DCA staking part. And another example that I also want to show you is the an example where you get to actually just give me a minute. I'm just trying to find where that is. Yes, okay, perfect. I'll just show you how this looks. Uh, yeah, so this example which I'm showing you is a way that you can have your agent act as basically a portfolio manager. So let me just show you very quickly how this looks. So yeah, if you see this example, this is the chat AI agent kit that I was talking about, the chat agent. So this is the UI that they have already built out, so you don't need to do much here. But you can say something like suggest a moderate risk strategy for $10 on Aptos, and it will be able to interpret that. It will be able to compare the like yield that you will make across all of the DeFi protocols on Aptos, and it will be able to suggest you. So if you see over here, it will be able to suggest you what you can do. So you can stake with Amnes, and it's gonna, yeah, you can stake with Amnes, you can lend, and it will then allow you to execute as well. So I'm just saying it to, can we go ahead and stake with Amnes and lend some particular portion on Joule Finance? So just stopping here for a minute so that you folks can just take a look. And yeah, it has successfully executed that particular strategy of staking on our behalf. So you can create something like this, like a portfolio manager that can actually manage this for you. And if you need access to the source code for this as well, I would be more than happy to share that with you. Do drop me a message, or yeah, do drop me a message on Telegram or Twitter, and I would be more than happy to help you. Okay, awesome. So this is something that I wanted to show you. Now coming back to our different tools that we are working with. Another tool, which is again one of the major partners here for this Crack Labs hackathon as well, is Eliza, and we will be actually looking into how does the Aptos integration work here and how you can use this. So coming back to my slides, uh, yeah, so this is the Eliza repo, and we have added the Aptos plugin here already, and you can actually go ahead and scan the particular this thing to check it out. I will show you how this works as well, where exactly in terms of the code you can check it out, how you can build it. So I'm just gonna share this tab instead. Okay, so in terms of a quick start guide for Eliza, and I think a lot of this would be covered more or less in the upcoming workshop as well. So I'll be very quick to just talk about what do we have here in terms of Aptos. So I mean, there is the way that you can install Eliza OS and start it, but the part that we are important, like we are concerned about, is creating a project here, entering that project, and then being able to add plugins to your project. And here the plugin that we are talking about is going to be plugin hyphen Aptos, which will allow you to basically send find out the balance in your wallet, send or transfer tokens on the Aptos blockchain. And there is a PR for this, which I am just gonna show you. But I'm just very quickly going to share this tab as well. So this is basically the interface for Eliza OS, and you can create an agent over here. I'm just gonna skim through all of these things because I think you can do this later as well. But under plugins, the idea would be to add the Aptos plugin. Under secrets, the idea would be to add the environment variables, which will consist of two environment variables. One is the Aptos private key, and the other is going to be the Aptos network, whether it's on testnet or mainnet. And you can actually find whatever information that I'm just discussing with you on the Liza main page as well. So let me just share that very quickly with you. Yeah, so this is basically uh, where we have added the support, and this has been done by our brilliant engineer Gianni. So yeah, so these are two environment variables that we are dealing with, and this plugin hyphen Aptos. So by just adding the plugin and providing it the variables, it will be able to do a lot of these things on chain. You can actually download it from the source, and you can modify it, and you can give it more functionality uh, as you want. So here, if you see, we have these particular like send token, transfer token, APT, all of these things. So you can add more functionality here if you want to. So this is one of the ways that we have basically collaborated with Eliza on this. Another interesting thing I do want to show you is this particular Merkle Eliza plugin. So I'm just gonna show you this next. So Merkle Trader is one of the very, very cool money markets on Aptos, which allows you to which provides, I would say, one of the best trading experiences on Aptos. So Merkle Trade also has their own Aptos Eliza plugin. And if you look into this particular repository, which I'm sharing now, so this is the Merkle Eliza plugin. And to set this up, again, you will have to add these two particular environment variables. And this is the plugin's name. So Eliza OS plugin Merkle. So if you are able to add these things, then you will be able to use it in this format, like open a BTC long position on Merkle trade with 1000 pay and 10 leverage, and it will execute this on your behalf. So there are like the different actions which are provided over here, like opening order, getting the price, getting position, getting order, balance, and then closing out the position. So I would say this is like a pretty good tool. You can actually go ahead and with inspiration from this, you can actually go ahead and even add something into Eliza, which is basically for any other DeFi market on Aptos, or however you want to do it. But I will say this, that one of the most comprehensive tools on Aptos right now, without any doubt, is the MetaMove AI Agent Kit. Given the way, and given the way it's been written, and given the integration or support it already has. And one quick thing that I also want to take a moment and mention over here is that MetaMove AI Agent Kit had a hack some time back, which was like a huge hack with over $250,000 given out in terms of prizes and grants from the Aptos Foundation. So this is just one of the ways that I want to communicate to you folks that Aptos is really bullish on AI agents. And one of the things that you folks can also do is maybe spend some time to go through the winning projects, which you would be able to find on their Twitter. I will show that to as well to you. That you will be able to find on their Twitter, and a lot of these projects, I think, by criteria were open source, so you can actually see their implementations and how you can go ahead and build something in a similar format as well. So I'm just very quickly gonna show you the winners as well. And yeah, so this is the Move AI Hackathon winner spotlight. And we had like four different tags: Def AI, Infra, Viral, Social, and GameFi. And I was pleasantly surprised by a couple of these projects on the Infra track. This Agent W, this is again by one of our existing developers on one of Aptos's DeFi projects who shipped this, and It is a very, very complete tool with over 30 plus integrations, including wormhole CCTP transfers, which allows you to basically move funds from other blockchains onto Aptos. USDC funds. So there's like a lot of very interesting things in a couple of these projects that I would definitely encourage that you folks check out. And as I said, a lot of them are open source, so you can actually go ahead and see how it's being done. So yeah, coming back to our slides. Um, okay. Yep. So we have all the building blocks that are required. So these are all of the data providers where you can go ahead and set up data analytics, data dashboards, whatever is required. Um, we are also looking towards more building blocks. So any sort of MCP servers, anything that works well with Cursor, we are looking for these kind of things. And just some examples of like imagining that if some agent can understand move code, analyze historical transaction, uh, depending like something which can be a plugin generator for Eliza OS. I think these are more on the infra side, which we would love to see. And why Aptos? Because concurrency, scale, latency. I think this is going to be the building block in anything and everything on in the blockchain space. And I think moving forward, I think we'll be seeing less and less of I would say like a lot of these L1 and L2 popping up. I think it's good if they are for unique use cases. And I always believe that there will be fragmentation across the ecosystem, but I do believe that value accrual will happen at a level where there are blockchains that focus on these things: concurrency, scale, and latency. To be able to onboard, to be able to provide a developer experience, to provide a user experience which is unmatched. And this is just an example game that we have on Aptos, which will basically closed 500 million transactions in over 3 days. And that's what we mean when we say that our chain is like battle tested or stress tested. And this is basically the team which was ex Facebook, so you know that you can trust these people. So this is one of the reasons why I feel like while we are moving to into all of these narratives like AI, deepen, and all of this, we always need to focus on the infra side of things, and I think Aptos is doing just that. Here's more information on how we are doing that for when we're talking about 10K concurrent users on a single application, giving you an example of being able to achieve 326 million transactions in a day with a low latency of less than 1 second, end-to-end finality, sub-second finality, right? Cost efficiency, where you can do 10,000 transactions for $0.34, and providing a seamless onboarding experience. We have Aptos Keyless, where you can basically connect with your Google accounts. We have account abstraction as well, where you can delegate funds to someone else and they can act on their behalf, or act on your behalf. So yeah, that's more or less why you should be bullish on building on Aptos, building AI agents on Aptos DeFi. So yeah, get started today, and that's it from my side. Hope you had an enjoyable workshop. Signing out. This is Neha from the Aptos Foundation. Thank you.
Neha, that was awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was fantastic.
Austin has joined us in the meantime. Say hi to Crack Labs co-founder and CTO, Austin.
Oh,
Hi,
pleasure
everyone.
to meet you,
Might have-
Austin.
Yeah, I might have seen my face on a couple of other of these workshops, but yeah, glad to be here. Yeah, that was fantastic. Very thorough, well presented. Very much appreciate that. I guess to kind of round this out, do you have any recommendations you might give for like what you think would be some great applications of this for projects? There might be some people out there kind of thinking through um, exactly what they're wanting to do and how to like best harness this
Mm-hmm.
uh, tech. So if you have anything you can speak to there as far as yeah, kind of recommendations, pointers, anything like that as people are kind of thinking through their ideas. And maybe a good place to put this is some things Aptos is wanting to see in their ecosystem.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Austin. I think that's a beautiful prompt there because I believe it can help a lot of the hackathon participants. So I would say a couple of things that we would be excited about is one on any strategic vault systems. So
Mhm.
any system which can build autonomous strategy, selecting that, implementing some form of risk analysis and risk adjustment. These kind of things would be pretty interesting. Another thing that can be interesting would be any format of like yield aggregation, which is powered through AI. So we have all of these different platforms, but I would say that there is more opportunity in terms of yield aggregation on Aptos. So if these are things that people can look into and build, would be pretty interesting. And a simple one, but actually a very effective one on the infra side, I would say would be to build something which can connect AI with our account abstraction stuff, our keyless wallet and stuff. So there we can think of something building like a smart wallet of sorts, which can enable sponsored or gasless transactions, where AI basically takes control and the user can, through account abstraction, delegate some funds to the AI agent to be able to do that. And we can also add some form of multi signature capabilities there. That would be very interesting to see. Another one along the similar route would be to see more of any format of cross chain stuff, which is, I would say, optimized. So all of these things that we discussed today are on the DeFi protocols existing in Aptos. What I would love to see is basically a list of different ways that people can bridge into Aptos or bridge out of Aptos, and an AI that can basically decide what can be an ideal path to do that, like a routing algorithm of sorts, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, one last area which I will also talk about is SocialFi. And given how Pump.Fun and Emoji Coin and all of these projects have been like, I would love to see if there is some way that we can enhance the social experience through AI, where we can basically delegate creating of these tokens by AI, where let's say a community together votes for something, and then AI just goes ahead and it can execute creating this token or creating something on a pump.fun sort of like interface. So yeah, I would say these are a couple of different areas that I am
Mhm.
personally excited about, and so is the team.
Fantastic. And then maybe just one last kind of closing question here. There's a huge amount of potential with AI agents, but they're brand new. So everybody's kind of like getting up to speed there in a lot of cases and just kind of now starting to wrap their head around everything that can be done with it. Do you see anything with Aptos in particular that is kind of unlocked by AI agents that isn't necessarily when people like traditionally think of AI agents? Like an opportunity here that you've seen or heard discussed or something, but just people don't seem to be aware of yet.
I think that's again perfect timing for that question, Austin, because we just launched our new revamped vision for global trading engine on Aptos, and we are
Mhm.
really looking to change the financial primitives in terms of trading. And I think that is where the AI agent narrative is going to be unmatched if we compare that with any traditional finance or any other blockchains. We are looking at adding things like scheduling of transaction, which is not possible on chain right now. It's possible on like centralized exchanges. We are looking to add financial primitives which can enable you as a protocol to capture MEV the way that you want on a protocol level by reordering of transactions. So I think these are a couple of very interesting areas that are not being focused upon, and I think if like given where we are in terms of the AI agent narrative, it can really unlock a whole set of things that people can do. Along with this, one another shout out that I will make, which I think has already been done in the Solana space, is that we're also looking into confidential transfers, balances, these kind of
Mhm.
things. And again, I feel like this is a perfect fit whenever we're talking about AI and DeFi in general. So yeah, that's a little bit of alpha for you there, Austin.
Okay, awesome. Given that, I might go ahead and wrap up here unless you have any other closing statements you'd like to make or any other points you have on top of your head.
No, not really. I think this was pretty well organized. Thank you for having
Mhm.
me, Austin and Ellis.
Okay, awesome.
Sneha, that was
And
awesome.
then to everybody watching, if you have any questions or anything, I know there's a little bit of a delay streaming from here over to like Twitter and other platforms. So if at the end you had a question you wanted to drop in, but we missed it, just make sure you drop it in the Telegram group if you're part of the event, and we'll make sure we get that channeled to the person who can best answer that for you. So just ping me or another admin, and we'll make sure your question gets answered. Other than that, I think everybody have a great day. Let's get back to building.
Awesome. And then I will say this, if you're not signed up for the hackathon, go to thunderdome.hackerearth.com, sign up, register, hop in the Telegram group, get to building. Next up, we have Eliza OS, who will be running a workshop on AI agent applicability in everyday applications, B2B and B2C. With that, Nisita will be joining us. So super excited. Stay tuned, and we will see everybody in about an hour.
All right. See you, everyone.
Basta deal. Face the winner.